In the United Kingdom, 100% live, it's Big Fight Weekly with your hosts Chris Hume and Stu Palmer.
I look into the mirror and all I see is failure staring back at me. I hope the light gets clearer, but when you got that voice inside your head saying
welcome to another edition of Big Fight Weekly interviews, and I'm here with none other than UFC fighter, promoter, head coach at Glory Fitness in Kansas City, Zac Cummings. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, busy but good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I want to start from maybe, instead of starting straight into your fighting career, also go back to how you came about to be a mixed martial artist, and and how you fell in love with the sport, and what pushed you to make this a career.
Yeah, I mean, mainly it was, I was an athlete, played sports. I love competition. So I played football, baseball, wrestled, did a lot, couple years in wrestling in college, and year of college football, and then had some injuries that kind of finished my wrestling career. And I was getting a little heavy. I was out of shape. I was unhappy. I was a massive part of my life just basically disappeared since I was 4 or 5 years old and stuff. So I just needed to do something to fill that void. And I messed around with some kickboxing, boxing, while I was wrestling. I had a guy on the team that did jiu-jitsu that I played with. We would just mess around a little bit. So I was knowledgeable of the sport. And, we always had UFC going on all of our road trips and the buses and everything. So I was very aware of it and a fan. So it was just one of those where, once I was done, I found a gym that was in my hometown and walked in one night and watched practice. I was like, this, I think this can fill the void of training. I had no desire to fight, just wanted to train, do something. And, me and girlfriend broke up, and I had a fight offer basically right around the same time. It just kind of worked out. So I took it. I won. I loved it. Michael Johnson joined the gym right around about a month after me, and he wanted me to fight with him, and he wanted to take a fight. So my second one was his first, and we just kind of took the world by storm right after that. And we just kind of fought all the time, 9 times in my first year, and just stayed busy. And it honestly just took my life over. I still don't know how I'm here doing it.
Saying about Michael Johnson, he had an emphatic win on the weekend.
Did.
And I think it was his first knockout since he knocked out Dustin Poirier as well, actually.
I believe so. It was, it was
he's
good.
been on the trenches with you, as you just said. So that must have brought a smile to your face to to see a teammate and a friend come back with a bang, really.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't get to see him as often anymore since he's in Florida, but we still text. We'll keep up, and man, it was good to see him. It was good to see him go out there and be happy and have a good performance.
I want to obviously now, but we sort of talked about you and your wrestling and American football. We obviously, I'd have to say, because it's different for me, isn't it? Because our football's different. We call it different over here. Soccer for you, I guess. Was there any sports in college school, or going to college and what have you? Was there something that piqued your interest there more so than collegiate wrestling or anything there? Was there something you looked at when you were younger that you thought, actually, I like this. This is something I would sort of pursue if you had the opportunity to?
I mean, wrestling changed my life forever. It was one of those where I grew up, football was my main thing. It was, as a little kid, I loved football. I was good at baseball. I played other sports, but football that's what I was all about. And then I remember when I was younger, the high school coach came in and was like, if you want to play football for me, you're going to wrestle. And I was like, okay, what's wrestling? Let's do this, you know? And so, but just the training, the discipline, all that stuff. And then the one-on-one, like there's no excuses, you know, in team sports, something happens, you can always try to blame somebody else. You can always do it, you know. Man, wrestling, it's you and one other person. And any individual sports like that, like I feel like makes you just a little bit tougher, a little bit self-controlled. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it just brings something else in you. It just brings something else. Yeah, it just brings it out of you. And wrestling changed my life. My thought process, the way I carry myself, the way I think about situations and what's hard and what's not. Wrestling 100% changed me forever, you know, and then it sent me on this little journey and stuff. So, I mean, I feel like that was the main sport as being younger that kind of, I think, did the most of changing me as and grow up in like all the different life skills and stuff. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. Obviously, we don't get that in the UK. We don't have the wrestling in school. You know, what I mean, it's either football or rugby. And I suppose in comparisons, rugby is as close you probably can get over here is to wrestling, because it's obviously a lot of takedowns, tackling for the rugby ball. So I suppose that is probably as close as you can get. Volkanovski, obviously, one of them has come away from rugby and transitioned into MMA. So,
yeah, sure.
You can sort of see the closeness to it, but obviously not the same sport.
Yeah, but it breeds toughness. You know, it's what like American football. I think my toughness and some of that stuff kind of was bred from the old football days and stuff. And then I think rugby's very, very much the same level. You know, like you have to be very athletic. It's a lot of cardio and a lot of toughness. I think those guys transition very well.
I prefer to kick a football, if I'm completely honest with you, Zach. I watch from afar, but to actually get into doing something like that, I mean, it was something I would love to have done. Where I live in Wales, in the United Kingdom, it's a very small village, so wasn't much opportunities. You'd have to go to the likes of Manchester, Liverpool, Nottingham, London, and obviously Wales is a bit breeding now, as you see with Jack Shaw and Mason Jones and Corey McKenna. So you've seen it come through a bit now. But where I'm from, there's about one or two gyms that's more sort of made the area now. So it's kind of like I'm 36 and I drink a lot of beer and I'll stick to watching it. You know,
I'm getting to that point.
Well, our acquaintance here is Don McGuire, and a shout out to Don McGuire going through successful hospital treatment yesterday. So thoughts and feelings to you, my friend.
Absolutely. Love you, brother.
He obviously replied straight to you for that one, Zach. So let's start with your career, because you got off onto a massive start. You racked off wins. You got yourself into Strikeforce. You were at the Challengers show. Tim Kennedy was your opponent. Obviously, anyone who's watched MMA would know that Tim Kennedy, also a very good wrestler, and packed a punch. How did that go for you? I know it was one of the first lessons you lost. Well, the lesson you learned from losing.
Yeah.
What did you get from that?
That I needed to make some changes in my personal life to compete at that level. You know, it was one of those where, like I said, I fought a bunch, and I didn't realize how good I was. You know, it was one of those where like I was getting away on winning and beating and finish these guys on just pure talent that I didn't realize I had, I guess. And then, you know, it almost felt easy, you know, so I kind of, not that I was arrogant, but it was like
confident.
I had that, you know, I haven't lost yet, and I'm unbeatable and everything there. And, you know, I could see somebody like, you know, whatever, I'll win, you know. And I watched a little bit his. I didn't know much about Tim Kennedy. I was on a river drinking the weekend beforehand when they called me and said, "Hey, you want to fight, you know, main event on Strikeforce and Showtime?" Like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go. You know, I mean, like, so I just
that down,
I mean, it didn't really bother me, you know. And I mean, it was obviously a different level. You know, I stepped in. He's a phenomenal athlete, you know, a great fighter. He's as tough as they get. And I just at that moment wasn't ready for that level. it was exposed and stuff. And it was basically after that fight happened, I realized there was some changes I need to make. Well, it was actually really the fight after that, because then I was kind of slowed down, didn't know. I mean, again, like I said, I started this journey not expecting to compete or fight ever, and then I just kept taking them, and like I really wasn't being serious about it. I mean, I was 10-0 as a pro, still not really taking it serious. It was just something I was doing while I was going to school, and having fun. I mean, really, it was just it was it was a hobby, it was a sport, it was just something to do on the side. And that showed me, it kind of opened my eyes, like, hey, I want to be here. I want to be at this level. I think I can be. But I need to make some changes and stuff. So it took me another fight after that to realize, like, okay, man, I gotta do something a little bit better and stuff. And once I made the move to Kansas City, a few fights after that, like it helped me snap out of the routine I was in, just kind of like the same people. Like, I mean, my gym was great, but it was more of like the life outside of the gym, just going out partying, staying up too late, working in bars, being around the wrong scene. But it was comfortable, so just that move, which just kind of made me like create a new routine and stuff, was really what made the huge difference. And that's like when I made the Ultimate Fighter, and years later now I'm still here in the UFC. So it definitely gave me lessons. It opened my eyes that I wanted to be here, but I need to make some changes to compete at the level I wanted to compete at.
You also fought the late Ryan Jimmo, didn't you, as well?
I did.
How was that? Because I saw Ryan Jimmo, I think, back in, I think it was 2008, and he fought Jimmy Manowar, but I think he blew his knee out during the fight, and which was disappointing, because it was quite contrasting skills between the pair of them, where Jimmy was a really good kickboxer with power. Same for Jimmo, but Jimmo was I always thought he was very articulate with how he threw his strikes, and he was always bouncing off those feet, and it was fantastic to watch. So how did that go? Because obviously it was earlier on in his career as well as with yours. How was that for you? And what did you learn from fighting someone like him? And it was for a title, I think I read through as well.
I mean, it was very similar to the Kennedy fight. The promoter was asking. He offered me an 85 fight against someone I can't remember now. Someone like Jackson Wings Camp. That person turned it down, and I was like, well, keep me in mind, whatever. And then, of course, a week before the fight, if that, I got a message or a call, or, hey, do you want to? Would you like to fight at 205 like this weekend? I'm like, so I look at the fight card, and I noticed there was only one 205 fight, and it was for a title, and I was like, who's the opponent? And then it was like Ryan Jimmo. It was like 5 rounds. And I mean, I just got over being really sick. I think I had like mono for 6 weeks, and I don't know. I just haven't really trained that hard. I was like, man, let me go to the gym tomorrow, make sure I'm not going to die, and I'll let you know. So, of course, I got all my big 205ers at the gym. We got after it. Had a good day of training. I was like, screw it, man. Let's go. I'm in, so I show up, and we're cutting weight together. I mean, I only had like maybe 5 pounds to lose or something. It wasn't very much, but Jimmo, because every interview was like, man, what are you gonna do with his size? He's so big. We're cutting. I'm like, this guy's not that big. I mean, he's cut. He's muscular. And we weighed in and everything, and I walked in the cage the next day, and I was like, holy shit, this dude big. It was like 240. He was a monster. And it was one of those where I truly feel like I was a much better fighter. He was just I mean, and I didn't even have the striking I have yet, but it was good enough to compete with him. I hit him hard. I cut him open. I mean, I honestly, I think I won the first and the 5th round. I kind of, I don't know. I just couldn't quite deal with the size. I had a hard time wrestling him. The thing, well, not any excuses, but like, he's a big dude, and I was finally getting in on the inside and like kind of dirty boxing, like getting control on the cage. And it was the very first, it was one of the first promotions that Canada ever had in a cage. It was like right before when GSP had the big one for the UFC in his hometown or whatever. So
With Jake Shields was that one, right?
Do what?
Was it the Jake Shields fight with that one?
It might have been. I don't know. So it was like the first one before it, and that promotion was always in a ring. Well, like we were getting separated off the cage constantly. So it's like I would finally get in close, get in where I need to be, and then like pretty soon later, like they were breaking us up and like resetting us in the center. I was like, man, I just got where I wanted to be at. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So, I mean, no excuses. I mean, I was having issues taking them down there anyways, but it's like when I finally got to the position I needed to be at, we were getting restarted. And it just, I mean, it was one of those where he was big. I was like, okay, man, I need to stay at 205. I mean, 85. Because I fought 205ers before. I fought a heavyweight before. But again, someone who was, I think at the time, top 20 in the world, you know, that level of a fighter, kind of like, okay, I need to be in the right weight class and like, you know, be smart about this. So yeah, I thought I was a better fighter. He was a big, strong dude, you know, and it was pretty funny. After the fight, he was like, "You're the toughest fat kid I've ever seen in my life." It was funny. Yeah, we had a good joke, but yeah. So
I've got a question here from Don McGuire. What does it mean to live your dream and create greatness in others, Zach?
I mean, man, it's hard to think of it that way, you know. It hit me whatever it was years ago whenever I made my UFC debut, and you know, my whole goal, you know, like I said, I never really planned on doing this. Once yeah, I mean, it's like once I realized, hey, like I think I can compete with the best guys. Like I wanted to get the UFC, and not only get there, I wanted to win a fight. I wanted to prove that I could win at that level, not just get there. Like I got to Strikeforce and I lost, and then you know I won. I fought in Bellator and I won. But I wanted to get to the UFC. I wanted to get to the best guys in the world. I wanted to win a fight. That was my goal. That happened in my debut. So I was like, well, okay. New goals. What are we doing now? Like, and that was a long time ago. I mean, I know I've been to a position where a lot of people wish they can get to or want to get to, and it's special. It's nice to be able to hit those really big goals, those life goals. More than anything, I feel like anybody else that's hit a very successful spot, is the hard part is how to stay hungry and how to stay there, how to stay at the level that they want to be at. And that was what I'm more proud of. I mean, they tell you, like, you get to the UFC, they're like, cool, like, it's really hard to get here. It's a lot harder to stay here, you know, and I'm 9 years deep, you know, whatever it is, and still hanging around, you know, I might be by a thread hanging around, but I'm there. You know, my body's barely hanging on. But and I feel like that's what I'm most proud of, is making my dreams come true, and then like find a way to stay motivated and stay hungry and continue that dream and stuff. And now, you know, it's now as a coach, as a gym, finding ways to do that for others. It's a little more special almost, you know. It's like whenever I can get in there, if just like coach, like when I can get in there and fight, I can control that. Like when these guys, like I see how hard they train, I see how bad they want it, and like I want the same thing for them. So yeah, coaching's just another level of I don't want to say selflessness, but it's just it's really special whenever someone else that you care about and you get to see their dreams come true. Like that means a lot. It really does. Like I get so much more nervous and anxiety for these guys that I care about when they compete than I do myself. You know, I mean, I'm in there, it's another day in the office, and, you know, I'm controlling it by the end of the day, and I can yell stuff, I can give advice, and I can talk to them, but like when it comes down to it, it's them in there, it's them choosing to be great. And yeah, so it's just amazing to be a part of. It really is.
But I suppose and you got that dog barking, got to set mine off here. You're like, suppose in Glory Fitness, you'd be like the father figure, though, aren't you? towards all the rest of the fighters there, wouldn't you? But everyone would look to you because you're the head coach and you're like the dad of everybody, aren't you? So it's like your family. So it's fair enough that you would get nervous watching them fight. You know, you sit and watch and you go through the game plan, and then you know you have to sit behind the cage. It's not you there that you can control the fight. So it must be so hard to be in the cage yourself and then having to watch one of your pupils go through what you've gone through.
Yeah. Funny. Literally a couple weeks ago, I had one of my fighters was asking me questions, you know, I might tell him stuff, and he's like, yeah, like I don't really have a father figure at home, you know. So I was like, bro, like I'm not that old. Like, man, can we go with Big Brother maybe? So yeah, obviously I'm understanding that that's becoming part of my role. I wasn't ready for it, but yeah, it really is. It's special to see these guys succeed and do well, and you know, and they're starting to get better and better, and you know, I mean, our gym's starting to blow up and doing more and more. It's yeah, it's just fun to be part of the journey of these other guys for sure.
I think it's inspirational because obviously you've got the story. You know, you were hard set on when you made you made your transition to mixed martial arts, that UFC was your prime goal. And you know, people who come to your gym and train get to know you, know your story. It must be inspirational for them to speak to you and say, like, you know, how did you do it? And you know, I want to be where you are, and you've got the story, and you can guide me. That must fill you with so much positivity and joy that you know you can tell these people your story, and people can look up to you and think, well, he had a dream, I have the same dream, and I want to be where he is. I feel like, you know, that must be so good feeling, you know, you can tell the story as well as they feeling the same story that you lived.
Yeah, and it's one of those where I feel like I'm pretty relatable to people. You know, I'm not a freak athlete. You know, I mean, like I'm a good athlete. Like, don't get me wrong. You can't be where I am and, you know, and not be a decent athlete, you know, but I'm not like this, you know, freak that had a, you know, really fast 40 and like a crazy vertical and, you know, insane numbers. And, you know, like if you go through the NFL combine, like, you know, I'm going to fail miserably, you know? So it's not like I've got all this crazy stuff, you know. I'm just, you know, a decent athlete that refused to quit, you know, and it's just like, I just don't quit. I mean, I've continued to hang around and hang around and hang around, just keep moving up. And so I feel like it's easier to these guys to see someone like that. They're like, oh, I mean, like, you know, there's nothing special about them, you know. There's nothing, like, physically nothing special. Like, if he can do this, I feel like I can get to that level as well. You know, you can see some of these other guys that, I mean, they just have the X factor physically that, you know, some people just don't have, and they're like, man, like, no matter what I do, like, I'm not going to obtain that. I mean, I feel like I don't really have that. Maybe outside of my chin, that just is granted, but you know, outside of that, I mean, outside of that, it's hard work and just being smart, intelligent, and learning techniques and being a technically strong, tough dude. Yeah. So if I'm able to do it, I feel like your normal, average person.
Relatable guy. I think I think that's probably the headline, isn't it? Because you're a relatable guy. You're humble, soft spoken, very knowledgeable. You know, you've shown that, you know, heart can get you somewhere, and it's not just athleticism. And yeah, okay, it does help to have a bit of it, but you know, heart does go a long way in this sport too.
Very true.
Don's thrown some more out here for you. Thank you for instilling inspiration in me. You created greatness in my career, my brother.
Man, he's killing the game.
He's a good man. He's a good man. And again, I'm going to say I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for Zac Cummings. And that's a massive compliment and a statement from Don McGuire there.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Like I said, I'm in here fighting for a paycheck or a competition for a sport, you know, and I've witnessed, I mean, before I, you know, was early in my pro career, right? Like the job I had is basically where I met Don. So like I saw him fight for his life for years, and And, I saw him come in where I didn't think I'd ever see him again. And he came in and all peppy and stuff. So it was all, a lot more life in him and stuff. So like, I mean, seeing people like him, and other people out there that have just battled and, refused to quit and survived life, man, that's always been a lot more important to me and stuff. And if I can help and inspire those type of people, like building or battling like real battles, man, for that's a different game. Like I said, I play a game, I'm in a sport, it's in competition. I mean, obviously bad things can happen, but I mean, for the most part, I got another person in there that's there to save me if it gets too bad. That's not the same for everybody and stuff. So I mean, if I can do something to help instill somewhat of inspiration or motivation for anybody else that's going through these true battles, man, that's what I mean. That's one reason I really love coaching in the gym, because that's a place that I feel like there's people that just need something like that in their life. I've had a lot of conversations with members and fighters and guys doing jiu-jitsu and stuff, just kind of telling me how much it's saved their life. And it's, to me, that's way more important than coaching world champion. It's that would be great to have, but saving lives of people, of true lives, that's different. That's, I actually just lost one recently. I had a kid that trained with me, and yeah, I mean, it's I feel like we can take lessons from others' shortcomings and stuff. And I hate being kind of that harsh about it, but I mean, like, I had a kid that was training for multiple years and quit training and kind of got in with the wrong crowd, and actually a couple weeks ago came back to me and was all smiles, and it was good to see him, and like wanted to come back train in the gym and be there. He's like, man, I really need this in my life. And a few days later, I heard he took his own life. And it just man, like, if I would have just got to him a little bit sooner, changed something, I don't know. It was sad, but I mean, that's again, like, we got to take lessons, man. There's always
definitely
is a better answer than that, and it's, I don't know. So it's like, I mean, the other guys at the gym, but man, like, talk to me, talk to someone else, like, be in the gym, do something. Like, that's not the answer. It's the easy way out. And I don't want anybody to take the easy way out in anything in life. Like, you want to work for what you get, and you got to work for it, and you got to earn it. And if it's relationships, if it's jobs, if it's work, whatever it is, like, it's never easy, and you really don't want it if it's easy. You just gotta learn to fight and dig and battle through stuff, because it can get really dark. It can get really deep. Sometimes you just gotta, like, start climbing out one step at a time. But yeah, so it's sad, going through it now, but try to find a lesson in it.
Yeah, and I've lost people myself. I lost my best friend well over 10 years ago. He was murdered, and I was only 18 at the time, and obviously it breaks you down, but I'm still here, and I've got two beautiful girls and a 50-year-old son that lives life with his PC. But hey, it is what it is. So I mean, there are ways around things. There are, if you do speak to people, I obviously didn't when I was younger, but looking back now as a 36-year-old man, I could be better with talking to people. And I think people, when they are suffering, they do need to reach out. And as much as it is hard, and it's easy to say, oh, you can just reach out, some people just struggle with that. But there is a lot more in place this day and age than it was 10 plus years ago.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad. But I've got an interesting comment here. Lewis Young is one of my he comes and watches me and Stuart do our other show, and he's asked you quite a funny question. I know obviously this isn't true, but I thought I'd throw it in there anyway. He's asking, were you in the WWE, Zach?
I was not. I don't know. I think I might have that look with the big chin and the beard and stuff that I kind of look at people, but no.
The Viking look.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't really know if I could do that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could cut a promo. You'd be fine.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm too much me. I can't be a character. I've like had that deep conversation, like, like I know it could probably help my fight career, and you know,
Yeah, right. Calling people out. Yeah. Yeah, but I find you different in that because I know that obviously, when they put the mic to you after a fight and they'll be like, right, who do you want next? And I see a lot of people and other sort of podcasters, and they give grief to fighters that you should be calling someone out, not to say I'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. But I think sometimes it's like that's more humble, and I think people more respect that more often than calling out X, Y, and Z.
yeah.
Because I think fight anywhere, fight anyone. I think that's more tough, and I think you will fight whenever.
Yeah, it's one of those where, I mean, it depending on where you are, I understand. It's smart. It's smart to have those to kind of help guide your own career. Like it's a smart thing to do. I get that. I've always just kind of been the way of like anybody ranked higher than me. I just want to keep moving up. It was if I go out, I win. Like cool. If I'm in my top 20, give me top 15. Is there someone between me and top 15? Like let's go there. If I'm around the cusp there, like someone top 10, like I always wanted someone higher than me. I just want to keep, respectfully climbing the ladder and climbing the ranks. And I didn't have to have there was enough names to where like I really didn't care. But that was kind of my goal and stuff. But I mean, like, if you're up there top 10 and top 5 and, it's smart. I do think it's smart to have your own call out. And, now there's these bigger money fights and stuff like, I can see the benefit of it. If you haven't quite earned that spot yet and you're not there, like keep your mouth shut, just do your job.
I get what you mean, yeah. But you could get, you get to your number one contender fight, and you can call out Izzy or whoever the champion may be when you get to that point, and then you go, look, I have called someone out now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, so I see both sides. I'm like, hey, anybody. I could see if you're already in the rankings, if some people have fights and you're trying to move up, like calling that person out. But, and there's these guys that, they just got in the UFC and, they're already bitching about pay and they're bitching about their opponent and, or whatever, like calling out someone crazy that they don't, I mean, like sometimes you gotta, just like any job, man, you gotta put your head down, you gotta do the work, and then you'll put yourself in a position where, you're a little more relevant. You can earn that stuff.
I want to take you back to a fight. You probably know I'm going to go with this, but it's in Dublin, Ireland. Crazy card. Absolutely, Irish bring something different to the world when it comes to supporting their own. I know the UK are huge, but Ireland take it to the next level. You're on the card. You're facing a big prospect at the time, Gunny Nelson. How was that as a fight? I know you lost towards the end, and that was another lesson for you to learn. And obviously, you racked off more wins after that. So obviously, you did learn something from that. But what was it like being in there as I suppose you're the villain because you're the American and you're facing an Irish Icelandic, should we say, with Gunny. You could have played with that, really. You could have, the bravado of the villain there. But we'll go back to the fight. How was that for you? And what did you learn fighting someone like Gunny Nelson at the time?
So kind of the whole experience was, I mean, I was co-main event, so they cut a promo like, sorry, they did the all the marketing stuff, right? So like, apparently they were putting, I had no idea this, but like they were putting everything on, on free public television all the time. So like when I showed up there, I was like a superstar. Like everybody knew who I was. It blew my mind, like everybody knew who I was. And like, I guess just from the interviews I did, like I wasn't really the villain. Like they all were super respectful. Like they're like, obviously like, we got to support our boy, but like, man, we like you. And it was a great experience. I mean, the fans were phenomenal. Huge fight fan, like you said, loud. It was one of the craziest experiences of my life. It was just special. There was something very, very special about being there at that time, and the insurgence of Connor and all that stuff. It was it was a special time. The fight itself, and I felt good. We had the first round. I felt like ran out. I won the first round. Kind of exposed Gunny a little bit. I mean, he was just running through everybody. Hurting him on the feet, take him down, taking the back, submitting him. I was the first one to kind of bully him and get him on the cage and hit him and beat him up a little bit, and I felt good. He had a really good punch sneak through, and it shattered my orbital really bad. Like it blew it out.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. They didn't say that in the fight. You see.
Yeah, I didn't feel it. Like it was weird. Like I knew something was wrong. My vision was off. I couldn't. But like I just thought he poked my eye. Like I thought maybe like the knuckle barely hit my eye. I went back and rewatched it. I realized it was a really good punch. But so I was having vision issues. So like I almost missed the stool sitting down between rounds. And even though my game plan was working, I was doing well. I was like, man, like as it progressed, it got worse and worse. And I was like, well, maybe I just need to put my hands on them instead of staying at range and striking and that. I was like, well, maybe I'm still a good wrestler. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy too. I've got good grappling. So I took a bad shot and he's got really good grappling. I tried to wrestle and grapple with one of the best guys in the world, especially MMA grappling. And I made a bad judgment call and kind of went away from the game plan because I was a little nervous about not seeing. And I went basically got to a position where he's best in the world at, and he got to my back and did everything, and he did a really good job of attacking the body before going for chokes, which I kind of stole from him. It hit me right in the same eye a few times to go in the choke, and it got tight. I didn't know quite how much time was left, but I was basically about going out, and I ended up tapping. So the fight was a learning experience and everything, but it was kind of a freak accident. Not accident. He meant to punch me. It was just kind of a freak that I didn't really know and understand, and it was just really bad. But I actually shattered my other orbital in another fight 7 seconds in.
Was that against Dominic Steele?
Trevor Smith threw me hit up, and he hit me with an overhand right first punch of the fight, and I knew exactly. It's a different feeling. I knew the feeling. I was like, man, like, okay, well, that's bad. So, but experiencing it before, like, allowed me to kind of like just holster it and deal with it and just keep at it. I had a 3-round fight. So, I had to fight 15 minutes with a shattered orbital and fought through it, and I won and beat another really good wrestler. And So, I kind of had to use the experience with it through the gunner fight and stuff. So, yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Lost, but I would definitely learn from it.
It wasn't the only time you fought in Ireland, though, was it?
No.
You went to Northern Ireland and you fought in Belfast.
Belfast, yeah, Northern Ireland, whole other place.
It is completely different there, yeah.
It's so different. And that
Did you understand the accent a bit better in Northern to Southern?
The accent?
Well, how they speak. Because a lot of my nana's side are from Northern, and they're much easier to understand and speak to. But my brother lives in Southern Ireland, at the last part of Southern Ireland before you get to America. So you go down there and you don't understand a single word they say.
I don't know. I think there was so much people that traveled in. You're hearing all these different. I don't know. Just you're hearing.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So you're hearing people you can barely understand, and I had, was he with me on that one? I remember for a while I had like McGuire corner me also, and he's a gypsy that is like John McGuire. So you can barely hear him. So I figure if I can understand him, everybody else is slow.
Yeah. So, I remember John McGuire, good little UK fighter back in the day.
Yeah, I loved him. He's such a good dude. So I met him through a lot of the Ultimate Fighter stuff, and so since I was over there, I was like, hey, you want to corner me? And so I kind of threw him as my third. But I don't know. I feel like with it being a big fight week, there was people from all over there. That was kind of hard to tell who was from where and everything. So
couldn't really pick it out the crowd really. Don again with another question. You helped create David Onama. How proud of him are you?
Extremely, man. One of those kids that I remember the day gym. It was funny thing. It was him and another guy walked in the gym, and I see the other guy, and I was like, okay, this kid could he's got something. This athlete. I mean, you could tell the other guy, and then you would tell him something like, oh, cool, like I'm pretty good here, but this, and you tell David something, just okay, puts his head down, shows up every day, okay, right, okay, and he would just say yes, put his head down, do the work, and it just showed the work ethic. Again, like I said before, so it's not always about having like the X factors, and I mean, David's a phenomenal athlete, don't get me wrong, but just the willingness to like put his head down, do the work every day, over and over and over again. Man, he changed his life. He comes from very, very humble beginnings and everything, and with his family, a lot of them are kind of packed in. He's got a big family packed into a small apartment and everything, and just to see him change that and change the direction of his life, very special, very special. So yeah, I got a very soft spot for David, for sure.
He sounds like a sponge when you're talking about him. You're sitting there and he's saying yes, I'll get on with it. It sounds like someone who's more of a sponge that's literally taking in every word you're saying.
Yeah, but he'll just do it. I mean, like he'll mouth jokingly and stuff, but I mean, if you tell him to do something, he will do it. He'll put his head down and he just does the work, and he's such a good fun. So yeah, I love that he is finally getting to a spot where he deserves to be in. He's got a bright future. He really does. He's just getting started.
It's good to know. And Don's put this one out here for you. I remember when you called out Cowboy.
I did.
Donald. Was it Donald or was it Alex? Because there's two now, so it's always confusing.
And Lawler was the big one I wanted to fight. Lawler was. I thought we would have some fun. We're both.
You still can. You still can. You're still knocking about.
Hard-headed. Well, I don't know. I'm a middleweight now, so I don't know.
I can come up. He's a big fella.
He's a big. I don't know. We'll see. I'm over here battling obesity before I can fight again, so we can see.
Lay off the beer, Zach.
Hey, I don't hardly touch beer. Some whiskey, maybe. Nah, just recovering from surgeries. So
that was obviously I was going to go to next with you, because obviously we haven't seen you since 2020 when you beat Alessio Doricchio. I think I probably butchered his name there, but sorry, Alessio. We haven't seen you since then. So obviously you've been battling surgeries. Would you care to sort of explain to us what you've been through and where the battles were?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I started playing tackle football at 5, and then I started wrestling. I mean, my body has been through some stuff. I've literally beat my body up over and over and over again. So I've got a lot. I've had multiple knee surgeries and everything. Other issues. I mean, there's some stuff I'll share, some I won't. But I mean, my body's definitely barely holding on at this point. And I was getting ready for Sam Alvey, and
Right.
I've been dealing with a herniated disc for a while. I've been getting some injections and stuff to keep it at bay for the last couple fights. Man, one day just the pain would not go away. I got the injection, it wouldn't go away. It was bad. Something happened, and I couldn't fix it, and I was honestly like bedridden for 2 months. Couldn't pick up my daughter. Couldn't deal with it was like I was not even a working person. It was terrible. Finally saw a neurosurgeon and had surgery on my back. So I've been recovering from back surgery for going on a year now, and it's just I'm training hard now. It just took a long time. I mean, it was probably that, and then another month of really kind of being stuck in bed. I mean, I was kind of like hobbling over to the gym and talking through some stuff and letting some other guys show it, trying to still be there and be a coach. But yeah, it was hands down the darkest time of my life. You know, I mean, they were like, "Oh, like you ever gonna fight again?" I'm like, dude, I don't even care about fighting at this point. Like,
Your health comes
I want to
first.
be able to pick my kid up, you know, and I want to be able to like enjoy my family, man.
Yeah.
Like quality of life was not there. It was not good. You know, I mean, I've done some cool shit in the sport already. Like, if I never fought again, I'm fine with it. You know, and now once, you know, some time's gone by, I had to start training again, you know, kickbox, add some grappling in, try to wrestle a little bit, see how we are. So it's getting there. You know, I'm back training pretty consistent, you know, with our pro team and training hard. And, you know, if one day if I feel like, hey, like I need to take a day off, like I'm trying to listen to my body a little bit more now, instead of just fighting through it like I would. Normally I would just put my head down, just, you know, keep grinding and then stuff gets worse. So being a little smarter on recovery and stuff, but I'm definitely getting to a point where I think I could take some somewhat soon. I gotta, at this point, I think my body's good training wise. I gotta start getting my, you know, fight shape, weight down, make sure I can get back to weight and stuff. So I'll probably look for something here in the near future. So we're finally back. I mean, obviously I'm no way, shape or form like back to 100%, but I'm to a point where I can compete. And you know, I'm almost done with this sport, you know, on the competition side. You know, I got, I think, 2 fights on my contract left. We'll see how it goes. More than anything, it's like I need to overcome this. You know, this isn't going to be what ends me. This isn't going to be what, you know, is the deciding factor. It's just a battle I'm going to overcome personally. And I'm going to do that for sure. So we'll see how it goes. I think I at least have probably a couple in, and then we'll assess, and maybe I'll step back and just coach. You know, if my body feels better, I'll keep fighting. So I know I'm at the end, towards the end. And yeah, so let's kind of see how it goes. But
Is that hard thing to sort of come to terms with? Because you've been around since 2007, so you've been in big fights. You've been on the Ultimate Fighter. You've been through the process, Zach. So you say that, you know, the end is near. Is it a hard process in your mind, or are you quite settled on the point there? Like, no, I've done what I've done. I'm really happy what I've done, and I'm happy now to transition to my gym, become a head coach. Obviously, you promote cards in Missouri as well, don't you? So you've got your finger in multiple pies. So is it hard for you to sort of come to agreement with yourself that maybe it is it?
I think it would have been. Honestly, the whole crazy 2020 shutdown stuff made it easier for me. I mean, I didn't have to. I mean, I was probably one of the last gyms to have to shut down and one of the first ones to open again, just from where I live. But just being shut down, being at home, spending time with family, taking the girls out, going fish, like just hanging out. I was like, man, this is what retired life looks like. Oh man, let's go. So that made it, honestly, those couple months or whatever it was, that made it really easy for me. And I was okay. Like, man, it just opened my eyes of, like, you know, I could spend more time at home. I could, you know, be a better father, be a better husband. I mean, it was, yeah, I just be a better family person, you know, like I'm gone so much. I travel and stuff, like the more I'm in it, you know, fight camp and, yeah. So I might say that, and, you know, I'm gonna throw myself right into coaching and promoting more, but, yeah. And then, like I said, just, I'm trying to set, you know, I mean, I've had the gym for 7 years or whatever. I mean, for a while now, but like, that's always been trying to set my future up for the day I quit fighting. You know, I mean, like I've had injuries before. I've had, like the Strikeforce thing, you know, I had a big contract and one fight didn't go my way and like I lost it. So like I've understood how this business works for a long, long time. You know, I learned young, and I learned that, like, you think you made it and you think this, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey, that contract really doesn't mean shit. It just means that you can't go anywhere, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I took a lot of lessons early in my career. So like I've always tried to set myself up, you know, for, you know, is it other more, real estate or other businesses or whatever. And the gym, was a business I love. And, I had some other things I just sold and some real estate. And, yeah. And then like I got the gym and I'm like, the shutdown happened. A lot of the promotions stopped. So like, I need my guys to fight, like I need people around here to fight. Like there's only one other really good show and, they can only do so much. So yeah, so I started promoting more shows. And that's going pretty heavy right now and doing really well. So yeah, I mean, my future, MMA will always be my future. Be it coaching, be it promoting, do something like it's part of me now. I absolutely love the sport and I'll do whatever I can, but walking away as a competitor, I mean, I've had to do it in football. It was the hardest thing ever. I had to do it in wrestling. It destroyed me. I think being through it a couple times, back whenever you thought that was like life, now I'm older, man. Like I know like it's a sport. It's not life. I mean, I love it and it's a big part of me, but I mean, there's so much more in my life than just being a fighter, and I understand that. And I'm fine with it. It's one of those where, like I said, my dreams came true. Right. And there's just more and more dreams. But like, I've done everything that I wanted to do, for the most part. I mean, I set other goals that I'm still trying to reach, but I mean, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Don's obviously our Mr. Commenter here, so he's got another one for you. What is your greatest takeaway from Ultimate Fighter Season 17, and what did Chael install in you?
Greatest takeaway is I deserve to be there. Like not even deserve, I earned. Like I got there, and that was my first experience being a full-time fighter. I was working 3 jobs. I was working, going to school, working jobs to do everything. And I got on the Ultimate Fighter, and it was like, oh, okay, I wake up, and I go train, come home, I rest, relax, recover, go train again. It was like my first little snip of, living a life of a professional athlete, pro fighter. And that was nice. I was kind of seeing how fast I can grow and how much I can learn in a short amount of time if that's all I do. Living the right lifestyle and doing stuff. And it was that helped me just kind of go all in. And then again, like, Chael's there, one of the top guys in the world. He brought Yushin Okami, who was like 3 in the world at the time. There's all these other good guys that are popping in and out every day, and we go and I compete. Had my rounds I won, had my rounds I lost, but I competed every round. And it was it showed me that I can compete and on my good day beat the best guys in the world. And it just kind of my eyes like, man, let's do this. Like let's really do this. You're able to, like, obviously we can do it. And I'm one of those that competes better than I practice anyway. So if I can do well in practice, like I know competing wise, I can for sure do it. So yeah, that was the biggest one, and Chael kind of, I don't know, both things. I mean, like he obviously took me under his wing and really helped out with a lot of stuff. I did my first fight camp ever out there with him, helping him get ready for Jones, and my debut that I ended up getting hurt and everything, and couldn't make. But yeah, I don't know. Just he's always been there, and if I ever needed something, he's there. And he showed, even though I didn't choose to do it, he showed me that you can put a character out there and a persona out there, and it's really not you. I mean, he was amazing at that. But like,
one of the best.
Yeah, he's literally like one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. And you meet, and he's the bad guy and stuff. And so, I mean, he taught me that, that's a thing and you can do that. And like I said, I had those conversations myself, and I just chose not to go the route. I was like, if I'm having this interview with you, or on TV cutting a promo or whatever, and years later my daughter sees it, I want her to know that that's me and not some fake person. I don't want to have to go into character, and I've witnessed it. Man, Connor is.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to say anymore. I know.
Room hanging out, talking with him, and we're hanging out, and all of a sudden he just like pops up and like starts strutting off. I'm like, what just happened? I look over, the door open, the camera barely poked through. And I'm like, oh, like he's so aware of it. Like, as soon as the camera came on, like instant persona showed up and was there. And I was like, dude, like we were just mid conversation over here. What's going on? So, yeah, like I said, I've witnessed it. It just, yeah, I just didn't, for whatever. I mean, it's just not me, and like, obviously guys that can do it and do it well are doing very, very, well and successful with it, so it's, yeah, I don't know. There were some other things, that he did, and some terms and sayings that he said that still, still stick with me and stuff of this kind of belonging, deserving to be there, and mental toughness and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I owe my whole career to that whole team and that whole experience, honestly.
And just great insight, and it just put me a lot of memories back with Chelsea and when the whole Anderson Silva and the Tito thing. When you were talking, and I could just sort of visualize it in my head. Yeah, all those crazy sayings. I'm gonna obviously let you go because you're a busy man, and I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to pass the mic on to you. Is there anything you want to shout out? Anything to anyone who's watching for you upcoming events that you've got going?
Sure. Yeah. Check out MMA Futures. Is here in the States a great way. They do a lot of pay-per-view stuff. So I have 3 cards I'm promoting in within a month. So this Saturday I have one June 3rd. I have one, then June 18th I have a card. So I'm doing a lot of promoting right now. And then after that I'm going to rest on that for a little bit, and I'm gonna focus on getting myself in the cage. I think I've done maybe 3 interviews since my last fight.
Wow. That's like 2 years ago now, isn't it?
Since the injury, I should say. Yeah, I just, man, like, Kyle, we were talking before me, like, I was in a dark place. It was, I didn't know my quality of life and how it was going to be. And I really didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to try to act like I was all happy and excited and, ready to fight again and stuff. And like, I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to stand up straight, and pick my daughter. I had a baby on the way. Am I going to be able to take care of my baby? Like, yeah, I was in a bad spot, man. It was, I stayed very, very much to myself. But I see a lot. I mean, like I said, body's getting better. I see a lot of light in the tunnel, physically, and I'm, so I'm willing to kind of be out there a little bit more and be myself. And I mean, obviously I'm past a lot of the dark stuff and everything now, that just quality of life outside of being an athlete is much better. I really, I'm really okay with where I'm at now, and I mean, like, I know my body's going to hurt. I mean, I've abused it and stuff. So it's fine. I mean, like, I've earned the right to feel this pain, and but no, I'm good. I'm excited to get back in the cage again and show that, I'm not fully done. And I've for a second I thought about it, and I go to the gym, I compete with, practicing with these younger guys getting the UFC, and I'm like, shit, I still got it. I got to do this. Like, I almost.
You've got that scratch to itch, haven't you?
Yeah, it would be easier just get beat up in practice. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. And like, man, I still got it. Still got it. I still got to go prove it and show it. And I'm gonna overcome this really darkness that I've had. And oh yeah, we're there. We're past it. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna compete, and we'll fight a little bit more. But more than anything, coaching, doing jiu-jitsu, trying to inspire and change lives for the people around me. That's all I care about. I spend time with my family, and so future's gonna be really good. Retired life is gonna be good, but I'm not retired quite yet. So we got some time, and we got some shows to put on. So
Don McGuire says I still got to face you at 170.
Shoo. 170 never happened again. I'm telling you. Ever.
Right, I'll let you go. I obviously want to say thank you for coming on. It's been an honor. I really appreciate you giving me your time. I know you're a busy man. I thank Don McGuire for putting this together, connecting this together to, bring this together. So I'm honored, Zak Cummings. Really appreciate it. And when you get your next fight, I'm going to hound you to come back on.
100%. I will. I promise. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. That's Zak Cummings. Fantastic guy. Loved it. I hope you all enjoy this show, enjoy the interview. Me and Stuart will be back at some point this week to break down the next couple of fights and boxing fights coming. Yeah, thank you very much.